So it was exciting news yesterday. The Hockey Hall of Fame announcing their inductees for 2025. And what's great is that there's an OHL connection. Joe Thornton, one of the inductees going into the Hall this fall. And I know a lot of people focusing on what Joe Thornton was able to accomplish when he was in the National Hockey League. But how about we focus a little bit on his time in the OHL, where he played his junior hockey? He was drafted by the Soo Greyhounds, and in his first season, 1995-96, he made his presence known. He was a factor right away, the St. Thomas, Ontario native. 66 games, 30 goals, 46 assists, 76 points. Joe Thornton, he was a beast out on the ice using his size to his advantage, although 51 penalty minutes, not too bad there in his rookie year. The playoffs, the Greyhounds, they didn't go too far, just 4 games to go to show for here for Joe Thornton, a goal and an assist. But it was his second season in 1996-97 that he really impressed with Sault Ste. Marie. 59 games, but 41 goals, 81 assists, 122 points. So what a second season there for Joe Thornton, plus 123 penalty minutes. So he was really involved with the Soo Greyhounds. And the Greyhounds, they would go on a run in the playoffs. He would appear in 11 games, registering 11 goals, 8 assists, 19 points. He was a goal per game in the playoffs. That just goes to show how important he was to this team during his brief time in the Ontario Hockey League. Also, don't forget, he played for Team Canada at the World Juniors during that time. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points in 7 games, but still, Joe Thornton, he was a beast during his junior hockey days. And that's really the reason why just this past season, or it wasn't this past season, it was the season prior, Joe Thornton actually had his number retired by the Greyhounds organization. So he was a very solid player for this team during his time in the Ontario Hockey League. And really, no surprise just seeing his longevity in the Ontario Hockey League. He was determined, he was a competitor. And, big congratulations to Joe Thornton making it to the Hockey Hall of Fame. And like I said, just wanted to highlight some of his stats while he was with the Soo Greyhounds in the Ontario Hockey League, a well-deserved Hall of Famer. Now let's get to some signings, and the Niagara IceDog fan base breathing a big sigh of relief. It's been announced that Jacob Monks has signed his OHL scholarship and development agreement, and this comes after they acquired his rights from the London Knights in the Max Crete trade. At the time of the trade, there were fans who were wondering, okay, what's Frank Avola doing here? They were worried that did they give away a player like Crete and not get anything in return? But at the time, Avola said it's going to be okay. We've got some positive news to share. Give us a few days. And that's exactly what happened. Avola, good to his word, and he was able to get Jacob Monks to sign with Niagara. Now, for Monks, he played time with the Little Caesars hockey program out of Detroit. And with Avola, during his time with the Windsor Spitfires, would have seen Monks quite a bit. He also played a few games in the USHL last season. He played for the Fargo Force and also appeared with the U.S. National Development Program. So he's a centerman. He does have that physical edge, and I think that's something that Niagara could really benefit from going into next season. They are one of those teams that could be considered a contender in the Central Division and Eastern Conference. I know a lot of talk has been on the Brantford Bulldogs, but don't count out the Niagara IceDogs, especially with that core. If you've got a guy like Monks and Robrick, this team has some firepower up front. And also Brady Wasselin. I know he's committed to the NCAA, but it sounds like Wasselin should be back next year. Still waiting for that confirmation at this point. But all signs pointing that things are looking okay right now. If you're a Niagara IceDogs fan, I'm sure once we get to training camp and we see who reports and whatnot, then there'll be a little more excitement with this group going into next season. Obviously, goaltending is still something this team's going to want to address, but Avola has some time for that. But the big signing here is now Jacob Monks joining the Niagara IceDogs. Now, a couple of first-round selections from the 2025 OHL Priority Selection have signed with their teams, starting off with Max Delisle of the Owen Sound Attack. He was drafted 5th overall in the Priority Selection, and his brother Tristan plays for the Attack. So the Delisle brothers will team up next year. I know there was some chatter about would Delisle be the first overall pick, but instead going to the Owen Sound Attack where he's going to be able to play with his brother. Delisle had a good season last year with the Toronto Titans U16 team. in 25 games, 16 goals, 20 assists, 36 points, so over a point per game. We'll see how that translates to his game in the OHL level. He's got some decent size, 5'11", 175 pounds. You got to figure that he's still going to continue to grow over these next few seasons. So the fans at the Bayshore pretty excited with the young talent they have coming up into next year. Now, the other signing coming out of the North Bay Battalion, they've signed 6th overall pick Cam Warren. He played for the Toronto Junior Canadiens last season. There was some talk about Warren potentially going top 5, but he fell just a bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with Warren's game. He is on the smaller size, 5'8", 152 pounds. But like I said with Delisle, Warren's another player that will grow, and he'll be able to get stronger as he goes along. He's also a centerman. We'll see if he gets time playing center in the bottom 6 to start the regular season, and then just see how the team goes from here. Warren last year, 19 goals, 23 assists, 42 points in 34 games. So another player who is over point per game in his U16 season. And the North Bay Battalion, a team that's been in a rebuild, but a lot of fans around the OHL praising what the Battalion have been able to do with this retool. A lot of excitement. I know I talked about Niagara just a few moments ago about maybe a team challenging for a top spot in the Central, but North Bay could be that dark horse, kind of like what we saw with the Kingston Frontenacs last year. So a very interesting bunch in North Bay, and also with their additions last year with Shamar Moses and Parker Vaughn from the Barrie Colts. I think this team is shaping up to have a pretty good core going forward, and some team that you cannot overlook during the 2025-26 regular season. So just a quick news video here today. That's how I see it from the booth. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on these signings, and if you're a fan of the Soo Greyhounds, how excited are you seeing that Joe Thornton has been named to the Hockey Hall of Fame for 2025? So again, thank you very much for your support. If you haven't clicked subscribe already, I would appreciate it if you did to continue to help this channel grow. If not, that's okay, as this is just supposed to be a corner of the internet where we're able to chat some junior hockey. So again, thank you very much for your support, and we'll talk to you again soon.